Hello, Judy from Thistledew Creations, back with another Valentine's journal card video. This one we made in the last video, and it's actually still wet, still kind of squishy, with these Love Is magazine or newspaper clippings from years ago that I purchased from a lady down in Nashville. So we did this journaling card with a bit of collaging on the back and a little bit of stenciling, and then just a nice collage of different papers that make it seem even more Valentine's-y. Stop and Smell the Roses. I think it might need a rose on here somewhere, so I'll maybe think about that and find some roses. Actually, here's a little rose we could add up in this little blank spot here or down in this corner. 3 little roses in a row. They're sticky, but I'm going to add tacky glue anyway. I just like to. My glue nozzle. So I thought we would continue on and make, this time I want to step it up a notch and make a journaling card with a pocket and a tag. So these roses are just a little bit off as far as color. So once they're dry, I'm going to ink them with some brown. But right now I just want to let them set up. I don't want to get any glue on my ink dauber either. Piece of napkin that I can just dab at this glue with between the roses. Yeah, I think that'll be good. I do have a brown ink dauber here, but I might need to hit them with something darker than this. And as I explained in my last video, I left all my inks at my dad's. So I might have to go back at that when I get them back with the vintage photo or something, but that's really cute. I love the 3 little roses. So let's do another one. And I have this other large, it's about the same size, but it's the backing from some sort of packaging. You can see the shape of the hang hole from the store, and it's got some scruffly paper around it, which I will just kind of pick out and then ink that up, probably with brown, just so it looks old. This brown is a pinky brown. It's like a copper tone almost. It's called retro brown, but it's not very brown if you ask me. I could probably benefit from going over that with the vintage photo as well. Maybe even get my little teeny scissors in there to get some of that out, but there you can see it, kind of see it now. So that's the thing from the store where they would hang it up on the peg. And I've got this tag that I made that can go with it. So I thought I would do a decoration on the front similar to what I did here. And then on the back side, I will have a pocket with this tag in it, just to kind of, like I said, take it up a notch. I've got some edges coming off here on my coffee dyed paper. So I'm just gonna glue them down. These have been sitting at my desk for a few months here with the wood stove going. So they're a little dried out on the edges. Must not have got the glue close enough to the edge when I glued that down. Quite often what these are is a bigger piece that's then cut up. So it might not have been an edge when I glued it down. Now it is. So you just fix them and move on, right? So I've got a bunch of these Love Is cartoons inked up in pink. And let's just find 2 that kind of go together. An Evening Stroll in the Garden and Picking Out Cloud Shapes, I think, are the 2 that I'll use on this. And Stop and Smell the Roses still works because of the garden reference. And I did like the way this turned out when I tore it, so I'm going to do that again. What I call fussy tear. And again, not giving myself the white edge. I'm going to keep the pink edge and just put a little bit of brown, the coppery brown ink around it. It's got like a gold foil effect on it. Just let it follow my fingernail and my thumb to get it around these curves. And I'm not worried about the straight stretches being terribly straight. I want them a little bit convoluted. So we'll have this element with the garden stroll picture, and then I'll put the cloud one on the music and maybe see if I can find something with clouds. I know I've got some cloud die cuts that might work. I think they're right behind me in my cart. So similar kind of idea. I'm covering up. Actually, this doesn't have to be at the top either. This could be up at the top. And this could be down at the bottom this time. And let's see. I think I would like to incorporate a little bit of this aqua. Maybe like this. So again, I don't like the straight edges, so I am tearing off a thin strip, which I said was difficult to do. It's not impossible, obviously. I don't want to lose a lot of this, but at the same time, if I tear off a wide enough piece, I could use that somewhere too. Probably use it on this tag. And then the bottom here, I think I will leave this square and round this corner to match this round, which I think is the second one. Like that, that'll work. So that gives me the position for this. And then this will go somewhere like this. I'd like to be able to see some of that music. And then these guys can go up here, but they still need something in their background as well. Maybe the brown check, and I could even put it on top, but I think I would like it underneath with the rough edge showing. So I've got a few little narrow strips of that. That one's too white. That'll have to be used for this side, but I've also got more that I can rip strips from. So let's start by now I'm thinking this would make a good tuck spot. Tell me in the comments whether you would make this a tuck spot or glue it down. I'm tempted to, because it's cardstock more than anything. Let's ink and think. See how much changes the look of that aqua when you put that edge around it? I think that just finishes it so nicely. And I'm coming to warm up to this brown, especially for this project with the pinks. It almost has a metallic feel to it, or look to it as well. And I think I have to make it a tuck spot. So I could put the tag on the front, I suppose, in the tuck spot. And this, the only thing is that this doesn't quite fit on it unless I rip it, which I could do. I can just tear this edge as though it's old and damaged, and tear the bottom so that it's shorter. I'm losing like the copyright information and stuff, but US patent 1974, LA Times. but I'm not terribly worried about that. Re-ink that torn edge. So now that'll fit. I'm just wondering, could I do it this way and have this on the top of the tag? Or still have it in the background up here, maybe. Let's start by gluing down our tuck spot. So you can see how much space I leave towards the edge, just about 1/8 of an inch there. And then I'll space it a little bit off of the edge of the card. So you can see the ink, and the ink actually has a chance to fade before you see the card, the tuck spot. And I've got a line there that's kind of crooked, so I'm just going to move it over a bit to cover that, down a bit. And so I'm just gluing the bottom and the side and leaving this torn and inked edge exposed, and that's where my tag will slide in. And whatever else you want to tuck in there. So up here, where I'm going to put this Love Is thing down, I think my best bet is to completely back it with the brown gingham, because it's so thin that if I try to put the gingham just around the edges of it, the center's going to sink and it might actually rip. So I'm going to like glue it right down to the gingham and have the torn edge all around it. So I'm going to start by tearing myself a little bit straighter edge here and across the top here. And I'm getting some white and some not white edges, which is fine. And I'm going to go right down the side here. And how long do I need it? Right about there. And I'm going to ink that with pink as well. Ooh, that's really bright that time. It's getting built up on the dauber. I don't hear the chainsaw anymore. So I might need to make this a quicker video if he's coming in. He just doesn't seem to have the ability to be quiet. Okay, glue this down with the glue stick. Lots of it. And still put some tacky around the edge. Always put the glue onto the smaller thing, don't try to put the glue on the bigger thing that it's going down onto, because you'll end up with glue exposed most times. So this, I'm just really trying to get it around the edges. And again, that gives me just enough wiggle room to move it a bit. Trying to keep it lined up along this pattern. Top and bottom is sort of a jagged edge, so that's okay. But see, I was going to use these to go around it, but then it would be unstable. So this way it'll be more stable. And I can glue that straight down. I can move it up a little. I don't want to cover up that. And I think up in this corner makes sense to me. So I'm going to glue all over the back of this, again with the glue stick, and a fair bit of it. And then I'll take the tacky glue and go around the edges. Hubby coming in. And then have have that offset like that, coming over fairly close to the edge of the card. And then the hope is that when I put this in, you can still kind of see that. And this one has a skinnier design on it anyway. I looked over Jordan and what did I? Can cover that up. And have this sort of up towards the top so you see this part of the music. I like that. And do I want this on top of something aqua maybe? I have this aqua script paper that's different than this one, but kind of coordinates with it. Kind of wouldn't mind seeing that on that. It's a shame though because you lose so much of the script. Instead, I think I'm going to use some of these and I'll put it maybe here. Back to my brown ink. Rose gold brown. I think the outside edge, I'm going to just ripple it, but leave it fairly straight. And around that just a bit. Just barely ripple there. And barely ripple here. I don't want to take a lot off. I just want to get rid of that super straight edge. And then I'll ink it. Being good. He's not interrupting, not playing Donald Trump on his iPad. Most of us don't want to listen to that. We're doing this to escape from all that. Okay, so this can go up here, and this is going to determine the shape of this top corner is going to determine where I can put it. So let's just put an angle on that so I can move it up like so. And then just deciding whether to put this sort of in behind it. I think so. So I will give that some ink or glue, sorry. And some, see how wilted that is just from the little bit of moisture from the glue stick. It's just newsprint. Move this up quite a ways. And then that can go there. And you don't need the word out to get the idea of what they're doing. I find that I often worry about what I'm covering up, but the brain does fill in the details for us most times. If it's something that you're familiar with at all, your brain will know what you're looking at. Not for everybody, but I know mine works that way. So just a little bit of a pink framing around that. A little bit of a layered look without being too bulky. And I think on down the other side, I'm going to put a piece of this. With the pink ink, I think. Nope, I'll do the brown ink since that's what's on the dauber right now. Makes your decision making easy sometimes if you just go with what you're doing. especially if you have trouble making those decisions of which color to do. Let something else make the decision for you. And actually, I just thought I might want to angle the top edge and angle the bottom edge just a bit more. Sounds like it's sandwich time out there. And I said I had some cloud pieces, and I do. They're kind of blue, bluish green though, so I think they'll work. They were in with some, I think, baby shower items that I got at the Dollar Tree, I believe it was. I'm just inking that a little bit with this so that it maybe will go a little greener. And I'm going to glue that right down. Like I said, when I get my ink back, I can always go over these things and change the color a little bit. And then I've got some ribbon that I can see that will go along with the idea of the clouds. It's just a pale, I think it's white chiffon. And it's a little kinky, so I'm going to get my little mini hair straightener. Just takes a moment to heat up, and I'll just take the kinks out of that. I keep my ribbons on cards instead of rolls, so I often have to do this, but it just takes a minute or two with this little mini Conair hair straightener. Doesn't take it long to start warming up. And then I just run it through just like I was straightening my hair. And I got a bit of glue there from something. And just, haven't even been a minute. And that's already taken the kinks out of that. I keep this in one of those things that hangs on the back of the door to hold shoes. It's a craft supply holder in my house. So it's always there, handy. Now I like these ends angled. And I'm going to go up to where that glue, go up to where that glue was. That might be way too long. I'm going to fold it in half and then fold it in half the other way. Put it through the front. I always do it through the front, not back to front. And then get my loop opened and push those tails through and pull. And there's your lark's head knot. That's the way I do it anyway. And that might be a little long, but I'm going to leave it for now. And that's cute. It's curling a little bit from the wetness of the glue. But it will flatten out if I keep it somewhere flat. And then I've got a little bit of glue along this edge from the original bakery box. So maybe that's where I could put my Stop and Smell the Roses. Although I could put it here too. I don't want to cover this all up. Although I could and let that hang out even, as long as I back it with something. I could shorten this a tiny bit more. Sometimes it doesn't take much to make something fit. Even the roses, I could get rid of more of that. And just keep that S. If I could get it that it doesn't hang off, it would be better, I think. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, I'll put it up there. Maybe just a little lace or something with it, eh? I do have doilies handy. These are beautiful doilies that I got from my Aunt Susie. And maybe just some of that poking out. I know I don't have a lot of room for it. That's the thing. And I don't want to cover up the aqua. I should have put that underneath that. It's kind of too late now. I think I need something more linear. Let me get my lace box. Perfect. Yeah, that's good. I'm gonna cut one edge off of it because I can use it for something else. And it won't interfere with the flower. It'll just kind of be an accent up at the top. Like so. So I'm going to put this, the way I'm going to put this down is just lay down a zigzag of glue and set that into it. And if this was a straight edge, I would probably let this lace hang out, but I want to see that torn edge above it in this case. Probably didn't even need to leave these here, but they're going to kind of support that word a little bit, if you know what I mean. And I'm going to give this lots of glue because it's kind of going to hold this down and that lattice down. So I'm putting a lot more glue than I normally would on this. And have that like that. I wouldn't mind a little edge along this side too, so I'm going to take just this much, glue that down right there, and this definitely needs to be held down. And then maybe what I'll do is a little button or something in this corner. So that needs something heavy on it. And I need something for down here, so I think I'll use this lace again. And maybe a piece of pink paper. Let's see, we have this. That will perfectly cover that old glue spot. To get sticky fingers. And a piece of this. Angle top and bottom. And then I'm going to lay it just over top of that. So again, I don't want to put more glue than I need, so I'm just putting this down beside where I'm going to put it. And I'm running a zigzag of glue. And then I'll lay that into it. It dries clear, so it's fine. And that just dresses up the back of the tag a little bit without adding a lot of bulk. And then this is needing more glue and some weight. It just needs some weight and some time. What have we got on the back? This is just coffee dyed. I think I'm going to leave the back plain and call that complete. And then that's just a little bit more involved than the first one, which is usually how I roll. And I got 2 of the Love Is used up on that one. Still using all the same papers, so they kind of coordinate. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing my second little Love Is video. And I hope you'll like, comment, share, subscribe. But most of all, have a great day. And I hope you know what love is. Thanks for watching.